Hey, have you ever had that book that you've been reading and you just can't put it down? Yeah, I had that this weekend. And I'm sure many of you have had that book. So think about that book you've had. God, I just can't wait to get to the next series, the next chapter, or whatever. And if you have never had that feeling, because maybe I just don't read, it's not important to me, I challenge you by the end of this video, you pick up a book and start building the capacity to learn more. Because I believe that it is the people you meet, the places you go, and the books that you read will impact your destiny and your future. Hey, good day, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Mr. Quinlan coming to you live with our MIPS Student Weekly Video Update. I want to welcome all of you aboard. Many of you came on last week, and if you're not familiar, every Monday I'd like to push out to you a video series of really kind of either in reflection or what do we look for this week. And so today is a little bit of both. So I just want to open up by saying an absolute amazing wow. Great work last week. Great work for many of you who came on board on a Monday, and by Wednesday, we were jumping in and requiring you to do one lesson from each of your coursework. And we were still kind of building the capacity to understand the platform and learning in the MIPS way. And I want to tell you how proud I am of you, of the effort you gave. So I want to take a moment to just breathe. I want you to do the same and be celebratory in the sense of a job well done. It kind of reminds me of the quote, one of my favorite quotes, that you never get a second chance to make a first impression, by Will Rogers. If you don't know who Will Rogers is, look him up. I'd love to talk to you about who is Will Rogers. But you made a great first impression last week and our first meeting and your efforts to want to be the best version of you. So thank you. So what I like to do in our weekly meetings is push out, kind of give you a little quick agenda. I'm getting better. Hopefully get these down to short little videos. I don't want you to stay here for 12 minutes watching a video about Mr. Quinlan. But I want to talk about the importance of sharpening your saw on a daily basis and systems that work for you. And if you don't have those type of systems, how important it is for you to be successful in your schoolwork with those systems. And more importantly, beyond your schoolwork. I want to also talk about a weekly roadmap discussion I'd like to begin having with you starting this week. How do you tell if you're on pace in your classes? Maybe a question you have. Want to dive into one of your courses on Edumentum, Edgenuity? We can talk about that also. And wrapping up, just the importance of two-way communication. And I like to say that two-way communication is like a two-way street, and really what that means. So anyway, real quickly, the book I was referring to that I picked up for a second time, called Atomic Habits by James Clear, really speaks to something that it's on my little board as every Monday I set kind of an agenda, what I want to do for the week. Obviously, you don't see much there right now. I have it on paper down here, but you can see at the bottom of my little board that I post just above the camera over here is 1% better. It's kind of based on this quote by James Clear. If you get 1% better each day for over 1 year, you'll end up being 37 times better by the time you're done. I like the fact of getting better, and I know you do too. And many times we talk about a goal we want to shoot for. And your EDPs, I'm working with some of you already about where do you want to be 15 years from now, where we don't even know what we're going to have for lunch tonight or dinner tonight. But how important setting that pathway and those systems in place to help you become a better student at MIPS and help become a better person. So we'll talk about what does it mean to a term I'll use often throughout this term is called stacking your habits. We'll talk much about this. So as we navigate today and jump in today's work, I navigate a little too quickly here. We'll talk a little bit about the sharpening of the saw habits. There's the body, mind, soul, and I'm not going to get into that today, but you'll hear me speak to those when our one-on-one sessions about how are you developing these 4 areas in your life. Take a pause this video if you want to. Take a look at the screen. I'm going to be referring to this quite a bit during this first term. All right, so I want to leave you with this when it comes to habits. I want you to think about this because I'd like to have this conversation with you this week. What daily systems or habits, have you established that are working for you? Really, and if you don't know, or you're like, I don't know what a habit is, or let me just prompt you with this. When you get out of bed, what does your first hour look like? Are you out to control the day by setting a pathway, or are you allowing the day to control you? We'll talk about what that means in a little bit. All right, let's jump into some work today. I said this would be a short video. Hey, on your radar this week, look to start. You look in your email. You'll have this sent out to you today. Actually, I've already sent it out to individually. Individually, I'll be sending this out to you. It's what you and I will be talking about in our discussion this week and into next week, more detail. Establishing those course completion goals for you and really focusing on, or not focusing on, but thinking about growth, maintaining. And if you failed, and that's okay to fail, that's where our growth comes. And really take a look at what do I got to do to get better in each and one of my classes. So I want you to be very intentional as we look at your coursework in the virtual setting. It's challenging. You're at home. And if you don't have that system built in, it's going to be really challenging. That's what I want to help you set forth this roadmap, as I call it. So look for that. How do I know if I'm on track or I'm on pace in my work? Now, for those who are on Edumentum, here's a sampling of a course. You can see the far left-hand corner is a green figure. If that figure is running to the right, looking good. You're on pace. And you'll see in this particular case in English and math that black mark represents where you're at today, and they are slightly ahead of pace. It's a good sign. For the other three classes, this individual is slightly behind. Now, nothing to panic. Maybe that's a specific reminder to, I better focus on those three classes, maybe do a couple lessons and see where that takes me. So we'll talk about how to read this pacing that has been set forth in your courses in our one-on-one meetings this week. If you have Edumentum, we'll talk about where to find that too. So I apologize, Edunuity. This is an Edumentum reflection. So there's a couple of you that have the other platform. All right, just as I wrap up here today, keep in mind a two-way communication is a two-way street. There's many ways that we can communicate back and forth, two-way requirement. This video is not a two-way communication. It's a one-way communication. If you respond back to me via email to maybe a question or task about your classes in it, then it becomes two-way. You are required to respond in that sense too. So keep in mind, there's many ways of doing it. Text, phone calls, Gmail, our Google Meets right now, or the video series as long as you respond back. We'll talk about that in our meetings this week. Okay? And in closing, I'm kind of laughing, smiling right now because right off the video, I have my therapy dog, who actually we're the Billet family, wants in the house. So if I keep looking over here, he's a golden doodle, so he's quite a character. So as we wrap up here today, I just want to remind you need to get a hold of me. There's my number at the bottom right-hand corner. I'm here to support you. I'm your daily coach. Yes, I'm a mentor, but I'm also here to help you in any aspect of your life that you need support in. Any area that I can support you. All right. If I don't know, I'm going to find the person for you. I'm truly blessed you came on board last week, and I'm blessed and I feel it's a privilege to serve you continuously here as a student at MIPS. Hey, have a blessed week. Build on becoming the best version of you. Work on that 1%. Until tomorrow.